Okay, I want to talk about this man right here, Benjamin Davis. He was one of the first selectees to go into the experimental of black Army pilots. And he was one of the first ones to go through the training. And then after he finished his training, then he was assigned to 99th Fighter Squadron. You'll notice that he only has 3 stripes. He retired with 3 stripes until I can't remember what year that he was awarded the 4th stripe, but it was after he retired. So here is a picture of him getting his 3 stripes here. His wife pinning it on. He also, after the 99th, then they formed a 100 fighter squadron. Then later on, well, even before we get to that part, I want to tell you, I was asked a question before why blacks went into flying. I'd just like to read exactly what I think, what I believe, and what I think happened. Many blacks had this keen desire to 20 to 30 wide scale involvement in their measure were met with continued indifference. That's bad. They should have been promoted enthusiastically. By the end of the 1930s, the role of blacks in the aviation changed abruptly. First in the civilian sphere and then in the military. Now that's where the 99, 100, and 301 and 302 really made this come to life. Is why blacks wanted to fly, and they were good at it. I also wanted to bring over here and show you. After my cousin had the 302nd Fighter Squadron, then they made him operations officer. And when you see this 100, it means 100 operations. Now they got their orders, all of them, the 99, 100, 301, 302, got their operation orders from this 100 operations officer. And after that, like I said, my cousin, at one time, he was in charge of the 100 operation office, William T. Madison. Now, I wanted to drop down to show you about this guy right here. I met him. He's a San Diego native named Eugene Cheatham. Right now, I can't tell you whether he still lives here, but he was one of the pilots here. And now, this guy here, Chappie, he went on to become right now I can't tell you. But I'm trying to think of the regional command up in, what is it, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. At one time, he got to be head of it. Now you drop down again, and I'm showing you a picture of Cheatham. In his flying days with the Tuskegee Airmen, San Diego native. You notice I'm pointing to the swastikas. They're backwards. The reason they're backwards is because they got, when Tuskegee Airmen gave them permission to put this plane in there, they told them, make sure you put the swastika backwards. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it really means, but it was kind of thumbing their nose at Germany. I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, it is.
Everybody's supposed to laugh, you know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we're pointing right down here. Now this was the stuff that made that runway. wherever they could just about set up one any place that they wanted, as long as there's a reasonably flat ground, make a runway.
Right.
I'm also pointing to the yellow tab to let you know this particular color on the wing denotes that it's the 302nd Fighter Squadron. Now the other squadrons, the 301, would have a blue tab. The 100 would have a black tab. The 99 would have a white tab. So that lets you know the 4 squadrons.
4 squashes.
Yeah. 4 fighter squadrons.
Welcome. I'm Vern Wochnick. I'm chairman of the volunteers here and head docent. Behind me is a Tuskegee Airmen P51 red tail. You'll notice on that the 2 kill signs. The swastikas are backwards. That is the Tuskegee Airmen doing this to the Germans. I'm just using more fingers than they did. They got special permission to do that, to put it backwards. You needed to do that. And sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Remarkable part about this aircraft is it's not the laminar flow over the wings that made this aircraft so great. It's the air scoop and the radiator. It allowed this plane to go 32 miles an hour faster than anything else in the sky. And of course, this is the first fighter aircraft that the Americans had that could fly all the way to Berlin and back from London. And for the first time, we would actually have fighter cover for the 8th Air Force going all the way to Berlin. Up until then, we were almost ready to pull the plug on daylight bombing. We were losing up to 30% of our aircraft. This aircraft would turn that around. So, welcome to our museum.
Welcome to the San Diego Air and Space Museum. My name is Vern Wochnick. I'm chairman of the volunteers here at the museum. Sitting behind me is a remarkable plane, the North American P-40. Many feel it is the best fighter plane in the world. Its story actually begins in the spring of 1940. The British had come to the United States to purchase fighter planes and replenish what they had lost in Europe. One of the companies that came to was North American Aviation. It had a reputation of building excellent trainers. Even though it had not built any fighters before, the British would ask them to build the Curtiss P-40. Dutch Kindleberger, who was the head of North America at the time, would suggest to the British that they could build a far superior fighter plane and deliver it within 120 days. The British would agree. And within 102 days, North American rolled out the Mustang, the Mark I, is what the British would call it. It was a fantastic aircraft for what they had created in that short period of time. Its speed was 380 miles an hour stripped down. It had a range that was almost twice that of the Spitfire. However, what it did suffer was performance at altitude. Above 15,000 feet, it was not very good. The problem was that the Allison engine they had chosen did not have a supercharger. Nevertheless, the British would order 300, and the Americans would order 150. The one drawback would relegate this aircraft to global reconnaissance and ground support. However, in May of 42, a test pilot for Rolls-Royce, a gentleman by the name of Ron Parker, would test fly the Mark I and recommended to the RAF that they merge Rolls-Royce Merlin with this new American airplane. That decision would lead to a major leap forward for the P51. At the same time, Thomas Hitchcock, a military attaché for the Americans in London, would start pushing the Packard-built Merlin. See, Packard was in negotiations with Rolls-Royce that summer to actually build the Merlin under license. All of these efforts would lead to the P51 B and C. This was the breakthrough. The B simply means it was built in California, and the C meant it was built in Dallas, Texas. They would change the propeller. They would add a four-blade propeller. They would add an intercooler, and they would deepen the scoop and increase the size of the air intake and the exhaust flap. This would be significant. That meant this plane could actually go 32 miles an hour faster than it otherwise would. They would also add an 80-gallon tank behind the pilot. While this provided longer range, it resulted in the plane being rather sturdy. The pilots were quickly learning to burn that fuel off first to bring the center of gravity back to where it should be. In the field, they would add the Malcolm hood, which was bulbous and provided the pilots with better visibility. The plane that would result had a ceiling of 42,000 feet and a speed of 440 miles an hour at 30,000 feet. It was the breakthrough. One more major change was made to this aircraft, the Model D. They would add a bubble canopy. They got the idea from the British. They would also thicken the wings so that they could slide those 650 caliber Browning machine guns vertically into the wing. That would reduce the amount of jamming that would happen with this aircraft. See, in a tight turn, if you would fire the weapons, sometimes they would jam in the B's and C models. Tuskegee Airmen also made some cosmetic changes. They would paint their tail red, and they would put their kill signs, the swastikas, on their aircraft backwards. That was the way they would diss the Germans. With this aircraft, they would set numerous records. The longest escort mission of the war. They would down 5 pilots in less than 4 minutes. They would shoot down 3 Me-262s in one mission. But they were most proud of the fact that they saved bomber crews. Out of the 179 missions they flew, they would only lose 25 crews. Yes, a remarkable aircraft flown by some extraordinary men. This is Vern Wochnick, and good day.